Hi, I'm Mayor Karen Cadger, and in speaking to Kathy from Easthampton Media, we thought it would be a great idea to start introducing some of our department heads. And I thought because our police chief, not that he's new to me, but he is new as the police chief to the public, would be a great time to start with him and introduce him. So I am here with Police Chief Robert Alberti. That was appointed in October, right, Chief?
Correct, October.
And I thought the public might be interested in just the way the department runs, just an overview of the run and your policies and procedures. But I think one of the most interesting things right now is your community policing. And I thought it would be a great idea if we could start with Gino, the new canine dog. So if you don't mind explaining the process, because this was actually a grant that we were able to receive, but it was researched by the police department. So would you like to start there, Chief,
Sure.
and just fill us in on the process?
Sure, sounds good. Good morning, my name is Bob Alberti. I'm the police chief, your police chief here in Easthampton. Thank you, Mayor, for having me. This is an honor. Thank you to Kathy and Easthampton Media for having us. This is a great opportunity for us to do some more community outreach, which is what our police department is all about. We do a lot of community outreach, and to your point, Mayor, our new canine Gino and Officer Andrew Boyer. Gino is a Belgian Malinois. He's 18 months old, and we received Gino through a grant from the Stanton Foundation, and the Stanton Foundation provides funds to purchase a dog, fully equip a cruiser, and training and hours for the training, overtime, all comes out of the grant. So it's a great opportunity for us to have Gino, put Gino to use as a law enforcement tool, but almost equally as important to me, and certainly my officers, is the amount that Gino brings to the table for community outreach. And everybody, I said it before, everybody loves a puppy and everybody loves Gino. We've had him out a couple times at some community events, and he's been smothered by kids. He's been surrounded by people and pet by everybody. But in our short time having him, we've had him for 2 weeks now. In that short period of time, Gino's done 3 tracks, and Gino had an assist on arresting 3 people for breaking and entering. So so far it's a very successful program. We're very excited to have Gino and Officer Boyer. And it's a great new addition to our department.
Right, and we're really excited that Officer Andrew Buller stepped up to take care of Gino, because it's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
And so they're partners.
Yeah, they sure are.
And now, before this, we actually used to have to borrow canines from different areas, correct?
That's right. We would typically have to call our surrounding neighbors or the state police when we needed a canine. And a lot of times when we could have utilized a canine, we didn't bother to call, because it wasn't like we had Gino where we can use him on everything. We would kind of have to prioritize when we would actually call and deploy a canine from another jurisdiction. So now that we have him, we can use him for everything that we want to do. And now our neighbors are calling us for mutual aid to have Gino come out and help.
And I think also what's a little different about Gino is the aspect of how friendly he is to the public.
Yeah.
Like you said, when at Big Rig Day, when the children were basically crawling all over him, how friendly he is. But also when it's time for his commands and when Gino's on duty, it's a whole different thing.
That's very, very true. When it's time for Gino to work and Officer Boyer gives him those commands in check, it's like a different dog.
So he'll be search, and also he's going to be trained in narcotics, correct?
That's correct. Right now he's just finished up 6-week training of patrol dog training. It was as much training for Gino as it was for Officer Boyer. And then he's got 2 weeks of narcotics training coming up. So Gino will be a patrol canine and a narcotics canine.
Now, community policing is nothing new to Easthampton and nothing new to your department. Do you mind speaking a little bit on the rest of the community policing we do?
Everything that we do is community oriented. Everything we do is about community outreach. I tell my officers all the time, get out of the cruisers, get out on the bikes, get out on the walk and beat, go insert yourself into your neighborhoods outside of the barrier of the police car. We do a lot of bridge building with the neighborhood. We do meetings. I have liaison officers for a variety of disciplines. The elderly, bias issues. We have Chad Alexander does an amazing job in our community outreach. He and Eddie Murray, they do our Coffee with a Cop program. We strive. We're always looking for more things to do. We've got a Facebook page up now, which we never had before. Our website's up and running, and our Facebook account is tied into our Twitter account. So we do a lot of our own messaging. And one thing that I've learned over the years is, for the most part, nobody messages better than you. Nobody can get your own message out better than you can. So we work very hard at community relations, and we're always striving to improve that on a daily basis.
I agree. Now, that actually runs into some of the changes. So some of the changes since you took over are actually similar to the changes for me too. The first thing I did is start up a Facebook page and do the mayor's messaging. And I know you've been very instrumental in that, and I agree with you, as best we can to get the messages out to the public,
Absolutely.
whether it's just a message that we want to send, or happenings, community events, all different things. But you also have the police officers on bikes, community policing, and even the Kubotas on the rail trail, right?
We have a Kubota that we had purchased. Again, more community outreach stuff to get out to the bike path. Once they redid the bike path, for us to get out there for community policing, but also for enforcement or rescue operations along the bike path. We have all the mountain bikes that we have now, the police bikes. We utilize those throughout the summer. We implement during the summer a walking beat during the day, and in the evening hours on the weekends. So yeah, we try to get out as much as we can. Obviously a lot of that is dictated by call volume and staffing, but the majority of my police officers, this is their home. I live here, we all live here, so we have a vested interest in Easthampton. We're very proud of our police department, we're very proud of the city, and we collectively feel it an honor to work here and live here and be part of the community. We're equally as part of the community as anybody else is. We have a vested interest in Easthampton.
I agree. Now, some of the challenges that you face, I think the public probably isn't aware that typically you're the first responders on anything.
Oh, everything.
I mean,
sure.
You understand if somebody's calling the police, but for any type of accidents, emergencies, whether they be fires, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's also very important to mention that the camaraderie and the collaboration you have with all the other offices, like the fire department, the DPW, highway, different city departments that you might not just think of as a natural thing.
Yeah, one of the unique things about Easthampton, and I've worked with police departments all over the world and all over the country, one of the unique things about Easthampton is the city as a whole is one big family from the municipal standpoint. We work daily hand in hand with the fire department, with the DPW, with the school department, personnel, finance, of course the mayor's office, and I can pick up the phone, or anybody can pick up the phone at any time, and we collaborate all the time to improve for the betterment of the city. And it's a unique opportunity for us and for my police officers to be able to engage in any faction of the city. Any of my police officers certainly have come over numerous times to the mayor's office, which it's kind of unheard of in other jurisdictions. But we kind of think of it as one big family here, and we're all striving and working towards the same goal, which is for us, it's the safety and security of Easthampton, but also the quality of life for Easthampton, the quality of life for the residents of Easthampton. That is our main goal, is to provide and improve upon the quality of life for residents here in Easthampton.
I agree. It's all working together for the betterment of our community.
Absolutely.
And we've received, as a city, a lot of compliments that it is unusual, and people are always, when they come from different states or different cities for any types of, even the microbursts, any unusual events, that how all our departments work together. And they just work as one unit, work as a team. So I think that's probably been one of the things that contributes to our success. That's working together.
We take great pride in that. I know all the other department heads, and you'll certainly hear from them as this program moves along. you'll hear the same thing over and over again. We all enjoy each other's company. We're all friends, and we all love working together.
And I think people would be a little bit surprised about the interactions of our departments together. You think of how individual they are, but they're not.
No,
when it
not
comes
at all.
when it actually happens, they all intermingle in many ways.
No.
And whenever there's a situation, it doesn't matter what it is, we're either a phone call away, an office away, and everybody comes in and figures out a way to handle it. So that's what I've seen. So
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to be part of this community.
Absolutely, and the community has it. For us too, particularly with the police department, the community plays a role in that. And I've said on countless occasions, and I've asked the community members, and part of our outreach is getting the community to engage with the police department and the other city departments. It's sort of a call to action to the community members that, for us, if you see something, say something, pick up the phone, call us. Oftentimes we get calls and people are like, I really don't want to bother you, but this happened or that happened, and we say, it's no bother. We would prefer that you call us. If you see something, say something. We would prefer that you would call us. So don't ever hesitate to call your police department. That's what we're here for. We're here for you, and we take great pride in serving you. So don't ever hesitate to call the police. We tell people that all the time.
Do you mind just speaking about your background a little bit, Chief, because it's highly impressive,
Oh, thank you.
and how long you've been here, but your experiences.
Sure.
Because I think that the expertise that you have, that you bring to Easthampton, we are extremely lucky to have you as our chief.
Thank you very much. So I started in the police department here in 2000. I'm sorry, 1999, when we first moved into the building. Prior to that, I was actually a detention attendant at the old police department. That's where I
Let's go
started.
back.
Yeah. So I was a detention attendant there. I came to the police department here in 99. Went to the I got hired full time. Went to the full-time police academy. I worked all the shifts. I worked midnight shift. I worked the 4 to 12 shift. I worked the day shift. I was then assigned to the detective bureau for many years. And during my tenure in the detective bureau, I was assigned by Chief McMahon to the DEA in Springfield. So in addition to my detective duties here, I worked with the DEA in Springfield, and there we worked on complex narcotics investigations and conspiracies that branched all over the United States and into other countries. So I actually had the opportunity to travel the world with DEA on a lot of cases, a lot of international drug conspiracy cases that we did, myself and my partner, John McGrath. Towards the end of my tenure with DEA, some promotions were available back here in Easthampton, and although I was still doing collateral duties, working cases as a detective here, it was a great opportunity for me to come back to my home and the city that I love and promote here. So I promoted back to Easthampton as a captain. I spent a number of years as a captain under the tutelage and training and mentoring of Chief McMahon, who was an amazing leader. So I learned a lot from Chief McMahon. So as my tenure as captain, I had a very unique opportunity to attend. I actually was nominated for and was accepted to the FBI's National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. Now, the National Academy, less than 1% of all law enforcement in the world get nominated to go to this 10-week comprehensive, in-depth leadership training.
Right, it's not like you can just sign up for it.
No. It's a nomination process, and it's really geared in law enforcement executive leadership, and it was the most rewarding experience of my professional life. I learned a lot. I met some amazing contacts. There was 47 states and 22 countries in my session. So I've got contacts all over the world. We had some amazing leadership training, and it really put me in a good position to be better prepared for when Chief McMahon retired and the chief's job was available here. So of course I applied for the chief's job, and Chief McMahon retired in October, and I was very, very, very fortunate to obtain the title of police chief here in Easthampton.
So firsthand, you can see the importance also of why we needed to reinstate the captain's position.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and-
No, it was
and especially,
imperative. Yeah.
right, because we went without it for a few years, and now we have the captain's position back in, which you were in that position, and then for chief. So you can see how
Yeah.
it's imperative that we have that position.
And it says a lot about our organization, about our leadership. I always I tell my officers, leadership and hiring practice, leadership and hiring practice. That's what makes our organization so unique and so great. We promote from within, so if you're the most junior patrolman getting on the job today, you can see that we've always promoted from within, and our chiefs have always come from inside, that you could be a junior patrolman coming in and you can aspire to be the police chief and obtain that goal as we move along within our department. One thing I forgot to mention, during my time as captain into my transition as police chief, I was also assigned to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force as a task force agent in Springfield. And in that time period, I worked on domestic and international terrorism cases here in Western Massachusetts. So I've got a lot of experience with regard to where we are as a climate in terrorism throughout the country and throughout the world. And I take all of that experience and I come back to Easthampton, and my job as a leader is to mentor my replacements. So all of this information and training and experience that I have, I impress upon my staff and my police officers, and I share with them all of my experiences. I share with them my training, and because my job ultimately as a good leader is to mentor and find my replacement. So we've got an amazing organization. The men and women of the Easthampton Police Department, bar none, are the best that I've ever worked with. Of course, I'm somewhat subjective, but they're an amazing group of people. And what's interesting, and I think it's good to know for the community to know, whenever we have a job opening, we actually have police officers who already are working in other jurisdictions apply to come here because we have such a great reputation of being an amazing organization. But again, we work hard on what we do, and we work hard on our community outreach.
I agree with you. We're extremely proud of our police department, and I think just listening to this is evident why I had no interest in going outside of our department to appoint a police chief. We're extremely lucky to have somebody of your caliber and expertise, and I thank the police department all the time for defending, but keeping our community safe.
Yeah, like I said, it's an amazing organization. It's an amazing group of men and women, and as much as I said earlier that we Easthampton are one big family, our little microcosm of our police department is an amazing family. We respect each other. We work hard together, and like any family, we certainly have our squabbling like any good siblings do. But overall, we handle everything. We communicate really well from the top down, and that, to me, that's what being involved in an organization like this is all about.
I agree. Well, thank you, Chief, for taking the time to be with us and explain the things of your department.
Of course.
So,
thank you for having us.
thank you, Kathy. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Mary.